The biggest problem that's happening now is the number one thing that I see happening as a byproduct of the internet and a byproduct of, and as a result of the internet, the record companies basically going away for the most part, let alone record stores. I mean, I've got this whole other feeling about everything. I grew up working in a record store, and I still am a huge fan of physically owning music. I'm still a huge fan of CDs. I still want my music that way. But I think that what's happened because of the internet and everything is that we've lost, with most people, any desire to have physical ownership of music. It's a stream, it's a file, it's something that they just pass around, and it's completely devalued music, in my opinion. Again, you can trace that back to the internet. The other big problem that I see is complete oversaturation. Because of the demise of record companies, you don't have any gatekeepers anymore for what's good and bad. Basically, if you had a band or you made a record, mm-hmm. if you got a record deal and you physically could hand somebody a record, and I could say, here, Daniel, here's my new record, here's a CD, and you got it, and you're like, wow. Well, I just think that it comes down to a case of oversaturation. I just think that there's too much out there for people to process. There's no gatekeeper, there's no filter. There's nothing stopping people from creation to delivery. And again, some may look at that as a very positive thing, and for creativity it is. But for fans to disseminate what's real and what's not, it makes things very, very difficult. The record company structure has collapsed, so A&R people and all that sort of stuff are gone, and you have all these outlets. Anyone can make a video with their iPhone. Anybody can make music with their computer. Anybody can deliver that music through the internet. So again, there's no barriers, and for every positive that brings, there's also a bunch of negatives. It makes it way harder to stand out from the crowd. It makes it way harder to get attention. And there's nobody saying to these people, hey, your songs aren't good. Hey, your band's not good. You're not ready to be putting stuff out. Who cares? The market's just flooded and flooded. And for the consumer, the fan, it dilutes stuff. And it makes it very difficult. There are record companies that are, put out 30 records a month. They don't do anything for them. The bands never will last past a week, but they're just pumping stuff into the system, and it just dilutes it and crowds it. And for fans, they don't know what's real and what's not anymore. We're also in a time where everyone, because of social media, it's so PC. Everyone is so hypersensitive to criticism. Everybody wants, you say the slightest little thing. It always amazes me. People will say to me all the time, hey, we really want to know what you think of this band. And they'll pound me on it, whether it's on Twitter or whatever. What do you really think of whatever band? Okay, you want to know, here's what I think. And I'll tell them, just my opinion. And if they don't agree with that opinion, then suddenly it's like, they go crazy. Like, Eddie was shit talking this band, and then it's like whoa, and then it becomes this domino and this snowball that rolls, and by the end of the day, it became, Eddie said you should be decapitated. It's like, no, I didn't. No, I just said I didn't care for the band. But that's this sort of social media machine that has perpetuated in this. Everyone's looking for that angle, that person to slip up. It's just also another huge diversion from music. Whereas when I was a kid growing up, when a record was released, that was a huge day. You cared about, you stood in line at the record store. It was you checked your calendar for that day. You wanted that record the day it came out. You wanted to hold it. You wanted to open it. You wanted to smell it. You wanted to look at it. You wanted to see if, as a big Kiss fan, first thing I'd do when I would get a record back in those days is I'd open the cellophane on the side and I'd shake it like this, because there would always be stuff stuffed in the album jacket, flyers to buy more Kiss junk, or, a tattoo or a poster or something. Like, wow, what's going to come out? You were so connected. That was your world. You stood in line to get the concert ticket. You stood in line when the record came out. You had that record. You looked at it all week. You played it. You became connected with it. That's all gone now. That going away is so important to the devaluation of music now. And then you factor in the fact that because of technology, everything is on demand, everything is immediate, attention spans are so much shorter, you want it quick, you want it how you want it, and as a result, it's just created this thing where like a record comes out and a new band comes out, and in a week they could be forgotten about already because there's no artist development either.